Hello and welcome to the Dutching channel. Well, that's Cheltenham over and done with. I hope you've done well there. I managed to grab 140 quid over the 4 days. It was a bit of a struggle, but better to be showing a profit at the end. Now, we're going to look forward to tomorrow's racing. And the time now is 7 minutes past 7 on Friday, the 15th of March 2024. So we're doing this ahead. And we're going to look at the card at Uttoxeter, starting with the first race. Now, before I do that, I always manage to forget something. Put that on. Okay, so the first race tomorrow is a novices hurdle at 1:15. 5 go to post for this. Hasn't got the same ring at the moment as the Cheltenham runners and all the famous trainers and big names. But here we go. We're into the field there of 5 runners, and our selection in the first race is Don't Rightly Know. So we're going to go into Betfair, and if you don't understand Dutching or want to learn how to do it, then just watch this video. I won't be able to explain it. I don't have time to explain it. So just as we go along, you can pick it up. So Don't Rightly Know tomorrow. Again, the first thing I will tell you here is this is what they call the over round figure. And at the moment, this is showing 110.9, which is okay because it's the night before. So unless you're going to pick something out that you really think is going to halve in price, then yeah, get on. But otherwise, if you're doing what I'm doing and you're doing maybe 2 or 3 runners in this race, you want the best prices you can get. So you want to bet in these races 5 or 10 minutes before the off, tomorrow, of course. So the first one we're going to look at is Don't Rightly Know, and this is 5.6. Now, we stake £50 in each race, but our returns need to be £100 until you come down with your last selection, and you have to just put on it whatever you can afford. And this is for only information purposes only, because I would not be taking these prices at 110 over round. So 5.6 is the price for Don't Rightly Know, which tells us we need £17.86 on this one to return £100. Our second selection is Range. Now, range at the moment is 2.74, which is nearly 7 to 4. And we would need a stake of 36.50, but we don't have enough in there because we can only stake £50 maximum. So we do have £32 and 14 pence. And as you can see there, our stake is £50. Now what I'll do at this point, I normally bring the calculator out, and 2.74 for range times the £32 and 14 pence would return us £88. So even though we've staked 50, 88 would still be an okay profit of £38 from that. And the other horse, Don't Rightly Know, would return us 100. So you have 2 horses running for you rather than just betting one and perhaps winning or losing. So that is the first race. Now, the difference between using exchange bookmakers and high street bookmakers is, first of all, you're going to need about 20 accounts on the high street bookmakers, and they still don't give you prices that compare with the exchanges. But of course, the exchange does have a downside, whether you bet with Betfair, Matchbook, or Smarkets. They will charge you up to 5% on your winnings. Now, you can get deals, you need to shop around. But what you would do here, if Don't Rightly Know was to win and you returned £100, they would take your stake off and it would leave you with a £50 profit. And then they would take the 5% out of your £50 profit. It's nothing to do with stakes, only what you win. So you would have £2.50 taken out of that £50 profit, and you'd return £97.50. So that's the first race tomorrow. And now we're going to move on to the second race, which is the 150. A few more runners in this one. 9 go to post for a handicap hurdle. So back into the Excel spreadsheet, into the second race here. There they all are. 9 go to post, and our top selection in column X here is always in descending order. So our top selection will be at the top, and our bottom selection will be at the bottom. So our first selection here would be Santos Blue. So we go back into Betfair. We move that on to Uttoxeter's second race. And Santos Blue at the moment is trading at 8.6. Now you can see here at 121 is terrible. Really, really bad. Because you're losing nearly 20% on the prices. But this is what happens after you've had a big meeting like Cheltenham. It's not great to do this kind of thing in the evening, but I'm just doing it again for information purposes. And Santos Blue is trading at 8.6. So you would need on this £11.63 to return £100. Our second selection would be Perseus Way. Now, Perseus Way is the outsider, one of the outsiders, at 17.5. So again, you would need £5.71 stakes to return £100. And One Eye on Vegas would be our third selection, which is trading at 4.6. And this means we would need £21.74 on this one to return £100. And we've now staked £39.08, so £10.92 is left. Our fourth selection is Canty Bay. And Canty Bay is trading at 5.4. And that means we need £18.52, but we don't have anywhere near that. As I said to you, it was £10.92 would be our maximum stake. But what would happen tomorrow, as they are 20% over on the over round figure, if that makes any sense? I think at this stage, out of your £50, you'd have most probably had enough to have put everything on Canty Bay and still had money for Monvielle. But we'll see that tomorrow anyway. But that would be your second race. And moving into the third race at Uttoxeter, 18 runners here. And yep, there's one at the bottom there now that's a non-runner. That's Loop de Maud. So let's just go and find that and take that out. Right, so that's done. So our top selection here is St. Davy. So it's back into Betfair again. Let's load the time of the next race. And St. Davy, if you look again, 17 point on the over round. This needs to be 101. So again, somewhere along the way, you're 15% down. So whatever you do tonight would be better to do tomorrow, and possibly you can always back another 1 or 2 horses after where I finish, like in that last race where we've only done, I think it was it 3 in that last race? No, 4. So yeah, you could have finished the 4th one off and also perhaps finish the 5th one off depending on what price it's going to be. So these are never worth doing in advance. You always need 5 minutes before the off, maybe 10 minutes at most. So getting back to St. Davy here, that's trading at 5.7, and that means a stake of £17.54 would return you £100. The second selection is transmission, and transmission is trading at the moment 34, and a stake of £2.94 will return you £100. Our third selection is White Rhino. The White Rhino is third in at the moment at 8.8, and would require stakes of £11.36 to return £100. That now means that we've staked £31.85 on those three. And our fourth selection is Hititi. And Hititi is trading at 21 currently. That means a stake of £4.76 would return us £100. The fifth selection, Elvis Mail. Elvis Mail, currently 28 on the exchange, and a stake of £3.57 would return you £100. And we've got £9.82 left to use. So our sixth selection is Lord Snooty. And Lord Snooty is in fact the favourite. And that is at 4.5 or 7 to 2. And what we're going to be able to put on that is £9.82 and not the 22.22 it required to get 100 back. So bring the calculator out again for the bottom one there, Lord Snooty, 4.5 times £9.82, and this would return us £44. So not far off of what we staked, so it's not too bad if that one was to win and, we lose £6. So in that race we've got Lord Snooty, as I say, a return of £44, and of course less your 5%. And the five that we've got running for us that would all return £100 is Elvis Mail, Hititi, White Rhino, Transmission, and St. Davy. So yes, we know that you could have a tenner on St. Davy at 5.7 and get 67 back, but I'd rather be betting the way it is. 5 different horses running for you at even money, and a slight loss on Lord Snooty if that was to win. Now we're going to move into the fourth race at Uttoxeter, and this is the Midlands Grand National tomorrow. Not many runners here, 12. We expect a lot more than that really. So again, with the 3 o'clock, we go back to our spreadsheet. We look at our top selection here, which these 2 top, or even 3 selections here, I do like them if either of those was to run in the Grand National at Aintree in April. I think these have slightly got a chance, these 3. But the one today, Mr. Incredible, is our first selection. So we'll go back into Betfair. We'll bring up the 3 o'clock. And Mr. Incredible trading at 7.4. Look at the over round again of 110. That needs to come down to 101. So 7.4. We would need a stake of £13.51 to return £100. And my second selection there is My Silver Lining, and that is showing at 7.2. And the stake there needs to be £13.89, and that will also return you £100. And Iron Bridge is actually the favourite at 5.7. So before we do that, we just want to add up here if we've got enough money. Yep, we have. So on Iron Bridge at 5.7, you will need £17.54 to return £100. And it leaves £5.05 in the kitty. And our fourth selection is Uttoxeter Colonnage. And that is showing at 8.4. And we already know that the maximum that we can have on this is £5.05, not the £11.90 they're asking for. And there we go, there's our £50 stake. So again, we bring out the calculator, and I'm sure I haven't pronounced this right, but Uttoxeter Colonnage is 8.4 on the exchange, and we're going to times that by £5.05. And again, you know, we're not getting our full money back on it, but you know, if it was to win £42, we're only going to lose £8. It's not the end of the world. But the top three that we got running for us at evens are the first three in the betting. So it's Mr. Incredible, My Silver Lining, and Iron Bridge. One of those three would bring back £100. And if you're looking for betting the Grand National, that you wouldn't do wrong looking at those three. I know they're first, second, and third betting here, but I do think that one of those could go on to glory in Liverpool. We're going to now move on to the fifth race at Uttoxeter. This will be the 3:35 handicap chase, novices handicap chase. 8 go to post here, no non-runners. And back into our Excel spreadsheet. Our top selection here is Christopher Wood. And those of you who follow football, you'll know him as a striker at Nottingham Forest, New Zealand guy. And we'll go back into Betfair, and we'll go down again and open the page up for Uttoxeter. And again, just keep your eye on this all the time. I have to keep mentioning it every single time because these figures are just not worth betting in. When you look at the percentage there, 117%, don't forget that needs to go down to 101. So you're going to lose nearly 17%, on which they will take 5% of your winnings off of that as well. So it's just gone down to 113.5. But Christopher Wood is trading at 12. So we put 12 in, and we need a stake of £8.33 to return £100. Our second selection is Marsh Wren. And Marsh Wren is trading at 8.4. And you would need £11.90 on that to return £100. And our third selection is Evie's Vladimir. And that is favourite at 3.4. So before we work that one out, we want to see whether we've got enough, and we have, bar 35p that we've got over. So I don't need the calculator out of that one, but I will on the next one, the Changing Man. And the Changing Man currently 6.4. But all we've got left in the kitty there is 35p to bring that up to £50. Now, whether you do a bet like this is up to you. But the odd money there would bring you back £2.24. Hardly worth doing it, really. But, of course, by the time you add that 17% on tomorrow for around 5 minutes before the off, you would most probably be able to have about another 8. You must have about £9 on that. You'd most probably be able to get your money back. So look out for that one tomorrow. That's the Changing Man, who's only going to give us £2.24 back. And the top 3 selections here would all return £100. That's Evis Vladimir, Marsh Wren and Christopher Wood. We're going to go into now the 6th race on the card. I've got 7 go to post here. Just making sure that that's the last race after that. Yeah, right. So the 4, 10, 7 go to post here. Another handicap chase. In our Excel spreadsheet, you see that our top selection here is Easy Bucks. And let's hope it is that way tomorrow. And let's go into Betfair again and open the page up. And we see that Easy Bucks is trading the outside of it. Look at this over round again, 20% this time, 20% too high. So 9.2 for Easy Bucks. That would need a stake of £10.87 and would return you £100. Bowls over bill, 2.92, which is around 15 to 8. That would need a stake of £34.25 to return you £100. And your 3rd selection, you wouldn't be able to have a lot on this, but Carbon King is currently 8.8, but we had already laid out 45.12, so the maximum you can have on this would be £4.88. But with the 20% over round on here, I would say that you've still got about another £11 over. You would be able to back the whole of Carbon King, and you would be able to back something on the Good Work as well. And this is why I say don't take these prices in the evening unless you're just going to do one selection that you think will be a lot shorter on the day, but there's no value to be had at the moment in the evening. Right, so Carbon King here, 8.8 times our £4.88 that we had left would mean that we got £42 back on that one. So again, it's not the end of the world if it was to win, it's better than a loser. And the 2 that we've got running for us is Easy Bucks and the favourite there, Bowls Over Bill. So that's the penultimate race. And now we're going to go into the final race at Uttoxeter. This is the 4:45 National Hunt Flat Race. And there isn't many runners, to be honest, in this. So let's go back into the Excel spreadsheet, move along to that race. And our favourite is Peacenik. So we'll open up the page on Betfair. And Peacenik at the moment, and look at this, 137.9. Wow, that's one of the worst I've seen. At 3.75 would be your top selection, and it would require £26.67 to return £100. Our second selection is Captain Bellamy, which is favourite at 2.34. All we can manage to have on this, we can't put 42.74. We can only put 23.33. And that will bring our stakes to £50. But when it's 37% higher than what it should be, you're looking at about another £19 that you'll have in the kitty there. So you would be able to back Captain Bellamy and Lieutenant Maine, and depending on the prices, you could go down to a 4th one. But I'm only doing this, as I say, for information purposes and just to give you an idea of the selections I've given for tomorrow. So that is the last race at Uttoxeter. We're just going to do a quick recap. You can see in the first race, the 115, Don't Rightly Know and Range will take the rest of the money. In the 150, we've got Santos Blue, Perseus Way, and One Eye on Vegas, and then the rest of the money will be on Canty Bay. Into the 225, we've got St. Davy, Transmission, White Rhino, Hititi, Elvis Mail, and the rest of our money will be going on Lord Snooty. Then into the 3 o'clock, which is the Midlands Grand National, we've got Mr. Incredible, My Silver Lining, and Iron Bridge, with the rest of the money going on Gita Pan Colonnage. Then into race 5, with 335, we've got Christopher Wood, Marsh Wren, Evis Vladimir, and the rest of the money will go on the Changing Man. And into the 410, we got Easy Bucks and Bowls Over Bill, with the rest of the money on Carbon King. And the last race, the 445, we've got Peacenik and the rest of the money on Captain Bellamy. But do watch for these over round figures, because if you've done them tonight, you would end up, well, you may win with one of the selections there, but you'd be better off to wait till tomorrow, because you most probably add another selection in the race where I haven't. So I hope you get on well at Uttoxeter, and that's it from me. So we'll catch up tomorrow on that meeting.